Cruciating times. It's coming back to us. It's come to us, but we are resilient. We've been through this before, and we're going to get through it again.
David Menzies for Rebel News here in North Toronto, and I'm standing outside Kehillat Shaarei Torah Synagogue, and for the second time, it has been vandalized overnight. Surely hundreds of dollars of damage. You can see the door smashed behind me, broken windows down the side here. Absolutely despicable. There's nobody at the synagogue here right now because it is entering into Friday evening. But I am with Avi. You are with Neon Windows and Doors. Avi, what do you make of this? You said to me off camera, this is your second visit to this synagogue.
That's right. We were here 3 weeks ago. They did the same thing and happened on a Friday as well. So it's kind of like they want to attack them on the Sabbath. Hurt where the home is at most, right?
You know, I think you're right. And I do notice, too, there are signs, and I can see the cameras, private property, video surveillance. Have they gone through the images yet? Do we know who might have done this?
I don't know much about it from this recent event, but I know from 3 weeks ago, hoodie, mask. The police said he may look familiar to them, but there's only so much they can do. You know, I think their hands are tied in terms of the government giving them permission to go heavy on these criminals, which they don't. We don't see that.
Yeah. No, I mean, it is, it gives grist to the mill for legislation banning disguises in public. Just the other day, my colleagues in Quebec were spray painted by Antifa types who are part of a pro-Hamas encampment, and you have no idea who they are. They're wearing such deep disguises. Avi, what are we talking about in terms of damage the first time and what your estimate might be this time around?
This is thousands of dollars.
Thousands
of dollars.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we could have saved. We're putting plywood board up, but the Sabbath is every Sabbath is every holiday. Every 7 days we have a holiday. It's we cherish our places. We pray to God on Sabbaths. We all get together as a community, and we're not gonna let them get to us. Putting plywood and to cover up, destroy the ambient light coming in on the Sabbath is the opposite of what we want to do. We want to bring light in.
You know, Avi, I've grown up in this city of my birth for most of my life. I never thought I would see the day when this would be a de rigueur occurrence, namely synagogues in Toronto getting vandalized, attempted arson, and so on. And when you see these images, it reminds me of 1930s Germany, Kristallnacht, you know, the nights of broken glass. It's so disturbing to me. How do you feel about this?
Extremely disturbing. Extremely. We have ancestors that have fought in the wars. I have great aunts and uncles that having come back from the wars, from cruciating times. It's coming back to us. It's come to us, but we are resilient. We've been through this before, and we're going to get through it again.
And Avi, I mean, we go back to October 7th in terms of current events, the massacre that happened in Israel. And, you know, with the attacks on the Jewish community, with the anti-Israel sentiment out there, with the anti-Semitism off the charts, not a weekend goes by where you're not seeing the pro-Hamas types, I call them the Hitler Youth Movement, the next generation, openly chanting for genocide of the Jewish people. And what I see is a double standard by our elected officials. They shrug and they say, well, you know, free speech. I see two-tier policing where they go after peaceful counter demonstrators and members of the independent media. I suppose it's easier to arrest them than the mob. What do you make of this?
It's hard to make of it. It's our leaders, our government leaders. We're very disappointed in what they're doing. Very, very disappointed. Just this morning, we were at Faywood and Laurel Crest, the public school.
Yes.
A young Jewish boy was attacked by who knows who they are, mask wearing. They threatened him. They said they will do the same to him as what Hamas did on October 7th. It's...
You know, we're covering that story too. And it's a couple of Jewish brothers. It's been systemic bullying. They were stoned. They were forced to kiss the feet of their tormentors. They were kicked in the groin. And again, I can't help but point to the double standard. Had that been, God forbid, a Muslim girl who had her hijab ripped off, I think you'd see Prime Minister Trudeau on the first flight to Toronto, a la the hijab hoax. It's almost as though they don't even hide the double standard. I think there are some people that are the protected class, and despite what happened to the Jews in the Holocaust, despite the slogan of never again, I'm telling you, Avi, it feels like we're seeing it happen again.
That's right. TikTok generations. Seems like our leaders are following the pressure of falling to voters, public impression, what people think of them.
Well, Avi, I'll end it with this. I'm looking at your signage, and I think it speaks to the strong spirit of this synagogue. The sign says, "Windows shatter easily, communities don't." And is that what this is all about? That sure, you can come here and do this kind of vulgar and grotesque vandalism, but this synagogue, it's not going anywhere. Much like the state of Israel, it's not going anywhere. Is that a statement that the spirit remains strong here in terms of the synagogue and its congregation?
In God we trust.
Well, Avi, I know you've got lots of work ahead of you. Thank you for taking time out to talk to me, and please stay safe out there.
Thank you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Avi. I'm looking around at this synagogue, all these shattered windows. Really, is this Toronto of 2024 or Berlin, Germany, circa 1935? This is despicable. And we know there are people chanting for genocide every weekend in the streets of our great dominion. And you know what, folks? Some of them aren't even Canadian citizens. Some of them are foreign students. Some of them are people on visas. You know what? Time to go home if you're going to chant that crap here. Please go to our petition, deporthamas.com. That's deporthamas.com. Add your name to our petition. And if you're able to, folks, kindly make a donation so that Rebel News can continue to bring you the other side of the story.